Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into this whole impulse to break things. We're talking about the rebels, the hackers, and the artists who look at the systems around us and decide, nah, I think I'll rewrite that. We're going to see what happens when you start counting the ooms and track the absolutely explosive race to build artificial general intelligence. Then we'll explore the wild manifestos of underground art collectives who truly believe that play is class war. And yeah, we're even going to unpack how a sex tech startup is using orgasm as anarchy as its motto.
So, what in the world do all these people have in common? Turns out they've all stumbled upon the same secret. The really interesting stuff, the magic, happens right when the system starts to glitch.
Okay, so let's start our journey here with the systems built on hard and fast rules. Computer code, legal code, the stuff that's supposed to be airtight. We're going to look at how the really savvy operators find the cracks. It's kind of funny how you can trick these incredibly powerful AI models. It all comes down to this idea of competing objectives. See, an AI is trained to be safe, but it's also trained to be helpful and do what you tell it to do. So a clever prompt can force those two rules to fight each other, making the AI choose. And this is exactly how you get jailbreaks. It's a cat and mouse game where users exploit these competing goals. They might use something called refusal suppression to basically box the AI out of saying no, or tell it to role-play as a developer who is free from all the normal content rules. It's a game of logic, a puzzle designed to slip right past the safety rail. Now, check this out, because there's a fascinating parallel to this in the real world, in the legal system. It's a concept called adverse possession. Basically, activists and squatters can use the law's own fine print. If you openly occupy and improve a piece of abandoned land for long enough, the system itself can actually grant you ownership. In both cases, you're not breaking the system from the outside. You're turning its own internal logic against itself. So whether we're talking about a fictional AI escaping its digital prison or a squatter claiming a physical building, the method is exactly the same. Find the bug in the code, find the loophole in the contract, and exploit it. Okay, so hacking written rules is one form of rebellion, but what happens when you decide to target the unwritten ones? We're moving on from formal systems to the rules of culture, art, and commerce. This is where rebellion becomes a performance. Sometimes this stuff starts out kind of academic, with movements like neo-concretism. You had artists like Lygia Clark, who just wanted to dissolve that boundary between the art object and real life, to turn art into an experience, a tool you could actually interact with. But that same impulse, it escalates pretty quickly into something way more raw and confrontational. The performance is no longer just some object you interact with. Suddenly, the artist's own body becomes the site of protest, of control, of political struggle. And this ethos is the absolute heartbeat of art collectives like the Seahorse Liberation Army. For them, play isn't trivial at all. No, it's a revolutionary act. It's even a form of class war. They believe the underground has abolished work, so the new goal is simple: make play your work and work your play. And this spirit even starts to bleed into commerce. You get these startups that treat their entire business plan like one big performance piece, blurring the lines between marketing, art, and social commentary until you can't even tell them apart anymore. All right, now we're going to raise the stakes. We're going to raise them as high as they can possibly go. We've moved from hacking culture to the race to rewrite the source code of reality itself. Researchers who track AI growth, they talk about counting the ooms. An oom is an order of magnitude. That's a 10x increase in power. And the pace here is it's staggering. We are on track for about 5 of these 10x jumps in just the next 4 years. Let that sink in. By the end of 2027, that could mean a more than 100,000-fold increase in effective AI compute power. That kind of exponential growth pushes us directly into the era of true artificial general intelligence. And this is not some distant fantasy. The trend lines point to a potential intelligence explosion happening as soon as next year. That's when AGI could start automating its own research, basically compressing a decade of human-led progress into a single year. At that point, this is no longer about building a better tool. This is about a fundamental shift in control. It's about a system that is poised to rewrite its own creators. A system that could become not just our partner, but our replacement. So after that chaotic journey, from AI labs to art galleries, all the way to the future of humanity, what's the pattern we're left with? What's the signal in all this noise? Well, it begins with this simple recognition. Every system, social, legal, digital, you name it, it has an architecture. It has rules, written or unwritten. And here's the key. Every single one of those architectures has a flaw, a loophole, a glitch. The impulse we've been tracking today isn't about destruction for its own sake. It's a creative, maybe even a necessary force that's always seeking out those glitches. It finds the pressure points and just pushes. It's this fundamental human drive to not just accept the reality we're given, but to take it apart, find the seams, and try to build something new. So I guess the only question left is, which system will you rewrite first?